Good night, Paula. Willie Cooper. You see, that's what success will do for some folks, Jim boy. He didn't even tip his hat, that Willie.
He wasn't wearing any, Monk, was he?
Come on, Pollywog, come on. Hello, Al.
Howdy, Monk.
Better fill a pail and put yours in the sink.
I'll see you next week, then.
Wonderful.
You can come home now, Dr. Trescott. Party's over.
Here, Jacqueline. Hello, ladies. Oh, Monk. Evening, Doctor. Well, anything in the fire for tonight, Monk? Oh, just a short evening stroll, sir. I'll be back at 9 to see Jimmie to bed.
Then we can stay at the Livingstons as late as we like. What would I do without you, Monk?
Oh, that's a shame, Grace. Monk isn't a nursemaid. Some young lady may want him to stay as late as he likes.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. 9 o'clock is plenty late. I always believe in leaving him the rest of the evening to wish that I hadn't left so early. Any particular young lady, Monk? They're all particular, sir, that invites Monk Johnson to come calling.
Come on, girls. How was your day?
18 calls.
I caught 6 fish. 6, Pop.
6? Wow. Hey, you better wash up.
My prescription for today.
Tastes better than mine. Always.
Jimmie.
What are those fish doing in my lab?
Well, the kitchen sink was full of dirty dishes. And Monk said put my fish away, so...
I noticed you also removed a couple of test tubes from the sink.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what would have happened if you'd spilled those solutions into the water? Hmm? No? Well, your fish would have been simply eaten away. Not even the bones would have remained. I want you to think that over, Jimmie.
you stall, Mr. Jimmie. I am no longer speaking to you.
Oh, Monk, what did I do?
Did I, at any time, did I, Monk Johnson, at any time tell you, Jimmie, please to put your fish in your daddy's laboratory sink?
I didn't mean nothing.
Did I tell you to pick up them test tubes, that if you get what's in them slopped onto you, it turns you into stone, maybe? Did it?
Oh, Monk, I'm sorry.
Trying to get me in bad with a fine and respected gentleman like your daddy just to keep from getting walloped. I guess that's the thanks I get for taking my pal fishing.
I will never do it again, Monk. Never. Now can I help you with that wheel?
Spoil your pants and then tell your mama that Monk Johnson talked you into it.
I'll be careful with everything, Monk. Honest. How's this, Monk?
It'll do, Bollywog, it'll do. Good, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Does that do it, Reef?
My best advertising, so good you look.
Mine blazes, you're getting your mop chop beats me, Monk. Yours looked as low as they ever would get when you sat down. Darned if they didn't.
Dr. Trescott always says that a little trim never hurt anybody.
Couldn't hurt a bit. Once or even twice a week.
Good evening, gentlemen.
You seeing your Monk?
So long, Monk.
Monk? Some dude, that Monk. He's just an old eye catcher from way back, I mean to tell you. Lordy, how about some service for a plain everyday horse face?
Right with you, Mr. Bainbridge. Just a second.
Come on, Reef.
Oh, ain't he a daisy,
Hello, Monk. Glad to see you, Monk.
Mr. Johnson?
Cast your eye among Johnson tonight. Carnation and all. Come on.
Miss Gertie?
Monk?
Yes?
We're waiting for the first-class mail from New York and Rochester to arrive. And we can have a little waltz later, maybe? I haven't been seeing much of you lately, sir. Shame on you. Don't you want to wait for the mail with us?
Well, to tell you the truth, Miss Gertie, I'm not much for correspondence.
Well, neither am I. Hello there, Willis. Expecting mail this evening?
Well, I believe I am, Miss Gertie.
That's a girl, Ginger. How are you tonight? Hello, Ginger.
Miss Kovac, how are you this evening?
Couldn't be better, Mr. Johnson. Felix expecting you. Go right in, right inside.
How's your arthritis these days, Mrs. Kovac?
I hardly get around anymore, Mr. Johnson. Worse than a cripple most of the time.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Hope you're not troubled by any great pain, Mrs. Kovac.
Hello, Monk.
You look mighty lovely this evening, Miss Kovac.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Monk.
I'm making us some tea, children.
Don't fuss on our account, Miss Kovac.
My pleasure, Mr. Johnson, my pleasure. It is a pleasure to have so fine a young fellow to our humble abode. Home. A man who can behave. I mean, it doesn't have to be a palace for folks to act nice.
I find your place charming, Mrs. Kovac.
I bet your mother is a fine lady. Proud to have such a son.
I trust she would be, Miss Kovac, but I never had the good fortune to know my mother or my pa. Such folks as I got by luck and not by family. Oh, I've sown my wild oats, I guess, and had my wild times, all right. But about 8 years ago, I latched on to Dr. Trescott's chores, and since then, I've mended my ways.
Something for an orphan boy. Simon should be like you. Bella's brother. I wish.
How have you been, Monk?
Looking forward to seeing you all week. That's how.
Well, aren't you sweet, Mr. Johnson? He's the sweetest man, isn't he?
Thanks again for the tea and cake, Mrs. Kovac.
Mr. Johnson.
Good night, Miss Kovac. Until next Sunday.
Good night, Monk.
Mrs. Kovac.
Mr. Johnson.
Ma, isn't he divine?
nuisance in there!
Johnson.
He took my boy fishing this morning. We were engaged to be married.
How are they, Judge?
Alive. Why don't you folks go on home? It's after 3 o'clock. Go on home.
The captain claims it was a gas burner. Something in the tube. Well, the house will be fixed up again in no time. You take Jim, visit your folks in Connecticut.
All right, darling.
I'll send for you as soon as we can move in.
But where will you be?
Well, you stay here, of course.
Child's all right. Some superficial leg burns. May leave a couple of scars, but he's fine otherwise.
A month.
It's the worst kind of chemical burn, Ned. You know what they look like. Most of the facial structure is gone. I don't think he'll live.
I'll see the monk, John. I mean to move him as soon as I can.
Ah, it won't be necessary, Ned.
No, I must.
Is your patient responding to treatment? How goes it, Monk?
His brain's been damaged. He'll be like a baby. How long, I can't say.
And his face?
I was able to save next to nothing.
What about surgery?
Well, I've been reading up on it these past few weeks. Even wrote New York. An assistant to James Sims is practicing there. Restoring kidneys, intestines, ligaments. All parts of the body, not the face.
You know, somehow, I get the feeling that the poor fellow ought to die.
He saved Jimmie's life.
Yes, I know. But nobody can stand here and not realize that the only reason that he's still here on this earth is you. You're spending every night with him here all night, watching him and tending him. Think about this town when they see monstrosity with an affected brain.
I thought of it later on. I thought of this town, too. And I thought of the way he'll be. He'll be anything you like, Judge. He'll be anything you want to call him. But he saved my boy.
And I know that.
What would you do? Would you kill him?
Oh, Ned, you fool. Hard for a man to know what to do.
Monk? No. Steady, boy. Steady.
Hello, Doctor. Monk Johnson, my old friend. Well, if I ain't glad.
Yeah, here's your friend, Al Williams.
Well, now, Monk, you're going fancy on us, that veil thing. You don't have to wear that with Mary and me.
Come on, Monk.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening.
Good evening, Mary.
Come in.
Now, don't trouble yourself,
Sorry.
Mary. Al, remember to do exactly what I told you.
We'll be glad to take care of Monk, Doctor.
Sure.
Monk, you remember Mary? Monk.
Welcome, Monk. Monk's one of the family around here, Doc. What do you need with that rag around his
Mary, I
waist?
told you he was burned. Al, could we show him his room?
Sure, Doctor. Monkey knows his way around this house, don't he, Mary?
Through and through, like the diggings. He used to.
Come on, boy. Steady. All right, Monk, here we go. Up. Now, Monk, here we are. It's going to be your new home for a while. It's just temporary. Till we get the house fixed up. And we'll take care of you. You'll be with friends here, Monk. People who love and respect you. You get a good night's rest now.
Al Williams. You don't know horses.
I wasn't saying anything about horses, Monk.
You don't know a pig from a horse. Horses. I don't know them either.
Sit down, Monk.
Only thing that knows a horse. Another horse.
Good night, Monk. Hal, you must be good to Monk. Be gentle.
Yes, Doctor.
I have your word on that, Al. Yours too, Mary.
We'll be good to him, Doctor.
You can be sure of that.
Fine. I'll come by in the morning.
Night, Doctor.
Well? What do we do first?
Take care of whatever comes up when it comes up. Made a good bargain with the doctor.
I know.
You take care not to spoil it.
House needs a woman's touch now.
The house is fine, darling. You haven't been getting any sleep, have you?
Hey! I think everybody should have a fire in his house. So we can get a new one like us. Where's Monk?
Staying with friends, Jim.
Can he come back today?
After we're all moved in, Jimmie, it'll be easier on him.
Come on. I'll show you your room. Don't hardly see how I can get by on $12 a week no more.
Al, your family gets by very well on less than $12 a week. And now that Dr. Trescott is paying you $10 for Monk's board, you can live like royalty. What kick can you possibly have?
She can't receive no lady callers, Mary can't. Not anymore, Judge.
Oh, hang lady callers.
None of my friends have come near my residence, not one.
Let them stay at home, then, if they're such foolish people.
Judge, the children.
What about them?
Well, they can't eat.
They can't eat?
No sleep in our house. Not since Dr. Trescott brought it. I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear him maybe a whimpering and a whimpering. And then I sneak and I sneak and I try the door to make sure he's locked in. Keeps me puzzling and a quaking all night long. Some folks say it ain't Monk Johnson at all, but a lunatic relative, one of them fancy families that's trying to keep him out of an asylum. What? I'm telling it to you straight, Judge. A lot of poor folks out my way, they think he's a devil. Folks that can't read or write.
But you don't think so, do you?
No. It's Monk, all right. But he looks like a devil. He does.
Well, how much do you think you ought to have?
$15.
All right, Al. I'll see that you get it.
Thanks, Judge Hagenthorpe.
Just as I said, dear, the little birthday girl's getting her presents at the front door. How could you forget that package, Jake?
Well, I plan to be back right away, Ethel. Papa will make it up to you, Janie, honey.
Do you remember where you live, darling? Just turn around a few blocks back on the right.
Here it is, Mommy. I found it under the couch.
Pick us up at 8:30, Jake. Now, don't forget.
8:30, not 8.
Correct.
Remember that, Janie, 8:30. Have a nice party, darling.
Mr. Winter?
Hello.
How are your wife and family?
The best advertising. So good he looked. And now,
No face. Huh. I don't believe it. I'm afraid the doc should have let him die.
how? How can you let a man die? How? Especially when he's done so much for you.
Especially when he has done so much for you. Come on, you better shave some people, yeah? Maybe this is the barber shop. Maybe not, yeah?
They say he's terrible now.
Monk saved your kid. What would you do?
Well, certainly, I know it.
That's right. You'd do everything in the world for him. Spend your last dollar on him, wouldn't you? Face or no face?
If losing faces ever got popular, all you barbers go out of business.
I don't think it'll get so much popular.
Mary.
What is it, Al? What is it?
Gone. $15 a week, right out the window. Mary! $15 a week out the window!
Now stop it.
Don't fuss on my account, Miss Kovac. I just thought I'd drop by to ask after your health. Don't fuss. Not on my account. Next Sunday's dance, I intend to have the honor of your lovely company on that occasion. Don't fuss. Not for me, Miss Coleman. I've been missing you all. Kill the dance.
Bella.
Poor thing. What happened?
Oh, honey. There.
Ginger. Let's wait for the mail, then. Any minute now. It's nice to wait for the evening mail.
Put her down, you. Put her down. Let loose of her.
I felt you ought to be informed, Doctor. We aim to look for Monk and bring him in.
Thank you, Jake.
We wouldn't be such fools as not to protect ourselves. In his condition, well, you know what I mean. Monk doesn't know what he's doing. Dr. Trescott will want to come. That's what I told the others. I bet he doesn't know a thing that's happened.
I'll get my coat.
Come on, Grace.
Jake.
I know the poor idiot isn't to blame.
Mom?
He's lost, darling. We're going to go out and look for him.
He nearly frightened our Williams and his family to death tearing out of there. I'll put off going to the sheriff, though, afraid he might make trouble with the law. They were having the Page girl's birthday party, Grace.
Surely? Jimmie wasn't...
I was going along just fine, I guess. Monk, though. Monk looked in on the party. Janie's too shaken up.
Why didn't you call me?
Dr. Moser was close by. I don't mean to bring it up. It wasn't your fault. Nobody's to blame, folks. And Monk went back and terrorized the other side of town for an hour or so. The Kovac girl has been hysterical all night. Jetty Hodgins banged up pretty bad, not to mention a whole store wrecked. Tom Fleming a mass of stitches. About this time, the sheriff got on Monk's trail, but he still managed to avoid capture. It's a shame, but we have to do what we have to do. All set. Firearms.
We don't need any. Monk knows me.
Glad to hear that, Doctor. Grace? Hold it, Doc.
Be right down.
Begging your pardon, Doctor. We didn't think you'd try to hide him, but we needed to make sure.
This enough, Mr. Winter?
Yeah. Of a hound.
Beg your pardon, Mrs. Trescott. Done real well, Doctor. The house, I mean, it's a beaut. Still got the smell of fresh timber up top there.
You keep it.
No, thanks. I don't shoot good enough anyway. Never think you'd had a fire, would you?
Good as new.
Okay, Doc?
You have to wait for Nolan.
No, we don't. Sheriff Nolan said if he was late to go on without him, not to waste any time.
You have to wait for the law, Jake. You've got to wait for Nolan.
You wait for Nolan, Doc. We'll see you later.
Hurry up, Ned.
At your service, gentlemen.
Well, snap to it, man.
Now, hold on, Doc.
I've been trying to get a line on your boy Monk most of the night and morning.
Sheriff, a group of Williamville's finest are somewhere out in the preserve with a dog and live 12-gauge ammunition.
Don't they know they can't make a move without me?
What'd you do? Tell them not to?
He can't get far.
They maybe killed him.
Well, what are you waiting for, Sheriff? Maybe the fool's miserable enough to shot you. You can still keep him from becoming a murderer.
Cease fire! Cease fire in the name of the law!
Maybe you and Grace will be lucky yet. Maybe they finished him.
You're with them.
In a case like this, I'm for keeping the peace.
Get this over to the sheriff. She's the one he's waiting on.
Cease fire! Cease fire in the name of the law! Halt! Identify yourself!
It's Nolan. We better call him.
Forget it.
Over here, Sheriff.
Monk! All right, boys. Pile them here. Pile them. Shotgun too, Jake. And the Colt.
What's with you, Sheriff? I have a permit. Permits, I have them.
They're for hunting game, Jake.
Game? Yeah, that's right. We've been out here hunting game, haven't we, boys?
Been tracking rabbits, Sheriff.
Oh, I see. Those blasts I heard.
Found a rabbit hole.
Some quail.
Molstead. You hired Ginger out for a rabbit hunt?
Sure.
You point that gun at me, Jake, and you'll be worse off than Monk. You might not have any head left. Monk! Come on. Monk! Monk! Monk!
Over here, Sheriff!
Sheriff, I got a message for you from 3-Track Junction Telegraph.
In a minute, Gus.
Get over there and help them cover them.
Here's your Monk.
Howdy, Judge Agenthorpe, sir.
Can you get up all right, Al?
Thank you, sir. I was just walking through this here preserve, trying to get me and my family a few little blackberries.
Is that why you ran away from us? From Dr. Trescott?
What size boots do you wear, Al?
You borrow Monk's clothes now and then, Al?
He wears mine and I wear his. He's a generous fella. Monk is a real good friend. Their dog, he got the scent of them boots and that coat, and he thought I was Monk. So I took him off, figuring I could lose you and find him before you filled him full of holes.
He can escape while we're standing here, you know.
He already has. The 3 in the morning freight went through Junctiontown after making the usual stopover here at Willamville. Apparently, Monk was on her. He must have dropped off her in Junctiontown while she was slowed down, right onto the tracks where this other freight engine was coming along.
She flattened him?
Something to say to you, Al Williams.
It's hard for a man like me to find a way to make an extra $15 a week. Mr. Winter, I never cared nothing about Monk. I'm telling you the truth, Mr. Winter. What I done, it was for the money. I could sure use them there boots. okay, Mr. Winter?
Yeah, I guess so.
Give him to him.
Don't touch him. Dr. Trescott? I'm sorry. I meant to take him alive.
Good night, Jake.
How's Jeannie?
Same. You know what I want to hear.
He's dead, Ethel.
You saw him dead. Jake, you saw him. You didn't. You believe that story they're telling about the railroad engine.
Believe it? You bet I believe it. Out all day long. We nearly killed another man. An innocent man. Come to find out, Monk never was in that preserve.
Jake? I want you to go down to 3 Tracks Junction, Jake. I want you to see Monk's body.
So, now you listen to me.
Jake, your baby's
You get your
lying
hat
upstairs.
and coat, and I'll hitch the team to the good
She's been
carriage, and I'll
hysterical
send for a
all
man to
afternoon.
drive you.
I
Ethel,
don't
are you
know why.
listening to me? I know my daughter's sick. I know all about that.
Out there, you can see her light burning clear
But
as
since
day,
you
my
want
sweet.
vengeance or something, you make the trip to 3 Tracks Junction. You'll enjoy seeing the body of Monk 10 times more than me, and you can tell all the ladies about it tomorrow at a special tea party.
Jake.
I saw the real thing, you can say. I saw the corpse of that poor wreck who looked through a window and set our baby to raving. And now, would you believe it? I feel 100% better. I'm practically a new woman, 1 lump or 2.
Oh, Jake.
I've had enough. Let him be dead. Let me alone. I'm no killer.
Hey, sis, everything's gonna be all right. They found Monk splattered all over.
We heard.
Hi. Hi. My daddy says Monk died. Yes. What did he die of? The fire?
Nah, that was a long time ago. Maybe he caught pneumonia like old man Stanhope.
Say, let's play one of us as Monk and take in all the kids fishing.
I'll be Monk. You be the kid.
No, let Jimmie be Monk first. I don't feel like it. But you knew Monk best. I know. That's all right.
Morning, young fellows. No running around now. Just you stay by me until we're across the streets. You do as I tell you, and we'll all have a real good time.
All right, that's enough. I'll be Monk now.
What do you mean? I just started.
We said we'd take turns. I want my turn.
All right, Jimmie's Monk then.
I don't feel like it.
I slept.
Beautifully. I won't have you feel guilty about that. Monk would never begrudge you a good night's sleep, you know.
I really slept. First time since the fire. I feel free, Grace. That's wrong.
No, darling. It's probably for the best, the way it's happened.
As awful as it was, it's for the best.
Maybe I'll never get used to it.
Well, I'm just as concerned about Carrie as you girls. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Doctor.
Carrie?
To come straight from the Monk Johnson funeral and not even stop at your own home.
I know, I was there myself.
Martha wasn't.
Shut up, Carrie. I was trying to hear your heartbeat, not your tongue. I didn't know Monk Johnson from Adam. Just because he's elected Saint of Willemville now don't make any difference.
A hero's a hero. He had a way about him, believe you me.
Know what you said the night he ran riot. Don't mean to bring it up, Doctor, but I live with two hypocrites trying to drive me into making a third.
I never. We've all forgotten that night, Doctor. The whole town, except for Martha, my sister.
I don't have to forget it. Never thought about it in the first place. Wasn't none of my business.
Carrie, you take one of these in the morning and before bedtime.
For how long, Doctor?
I'll come by and see you in the next couple of days. You get some rest, Carrie.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye-bye, Kate.
Bye.
She's all right.
I'll see you out. Was it nice and all, Doctor? Funeral, I mean.
Oh, impressive, Martha. Nearly everyone for miles around.
Long speeches?
The 4th of July.
Forbid.
Monk would have left halfway through.
Good sermon?
The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away.
Heaven forbid. Give my love to Grace, Doctor.
Thank you, Martha.
As for the funeral, Doctor, I couldn't go. I hope you understand.
Martha, like you said, you didn't know him from Adam.
Bye, Doctor.
I'm expected in the Capitol for the annual meeting on orthopedics. Naturally, I prefer you watch my practice during my absence. I'm certain my patients would prefer you while I'm away.
Be happy to, John.
Hello, fisherman.
Jimmy, you know Dr. Moser. Well. Water pretty rough today, huh? What is it, Jim? Jim?
I saw something.
What? Where?
I saw something. I saw something.
All right now, Jim. You went down to the stream with the boys, yes?
I went by myself. Down to the pond. I was at the pond and fishing. And I turned. And there was this something. It didn't have any face. Nothing, Papa. No face at all.
There, Jimmy. There, boy. There. Down all the way to the pond.
Bet you're hungry. Bet you're hungry. Bet you're hungry. Bet you're hungry.
Come on, Monk. We're going home.
Morning.
What have you got to look so chipper about?
Monk's found. He's alive. Monk Johnson.
I wouldn't make the shape so close like the last time.
Reef.
We know.
When there's something you can do about something, Billy, then it's time for a man to do it. But when a man can't do anything, then it's time for him to think of other things and to wash his hands. Right?
Amen.
About it.
Hallelujah.
Now, you got some other news for us this morning, maybe?
Anybody find out who we buried at Monk's funeral?
Name of Kingsley Stowe, wealthy rancher traveling east via Pullman. 2 thugs cleaned him out and threw him from the train near Three Tracks Junction the same night the trouble started here.
How come the railroad people thought it was Monk?
What was left of this gent had on a good quality suit like Monk used to wear. We had them looking for Monk, and nobody had even started to look for Mr. Stowe. That's how come.
The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Sometimes the Lord giveth back again.
Nobody thought to give Henry back his storefront. He had to repair it and pay for it all by himself.
The part that gets me is how he frightened Doc Trescott's own kid.
The boy's in bed with a fever, they claim.
A high fever.
Monk would have killed himself before he hurt that kid. Especially that kid.
They aren't going to come right out and say this. But I hear the boy's in such bad shape that he is liable not to pull through at all.
Monk? Monk, I brought you breakfast.
Jimmie!
Let's leave him alone.
If you were sick and nervous like I am, he'd scare the life out of you. Him being with that, keeping that creature right here in town. Well, you can't go against the whole town, Miss Goodwin.
Whole town? I'd like to know what you call the whole town. You call these silly people who are scared of Monk Johnson the whole town?
Well, everybody that's seen him were frightened almost to death. It's not only the children, it's the grown-ups, too. It's awful.
The same ones who went to his funeral? Awful. You bet it is.
He's nothing but a nuisance and no business being at large. Shh, Gary. If you want to see me have a fit, just mention another word about those Trescotts.
Now, Carrie, what is this?
I asked you to tell him not to come. I told you explicitly.
Not to come?
She's got crazy ideas, Doctor. It's about Monk Johnson. Says she has dreams, nightmares about him chasing her and all sorts of nonsense. She says you make her more nervous than she already is. Well, I think it's dreadful, Doctor.
I'll turn her case over to Moser. You haven't been working her too hard, have you?
Carrie, working too hard. Well, she's like on a pension in this house, Doctor. I watch over her like over my own daughter. Me and my sister Kate do all the work. No, I do all the work. Wish you could tend to me, Doctor. Here I am getting on and healthier than that horse of yours. Bye, Doctor. You're a disgrace to the name of Goodwin. You midget.
Serve him right if he loves every patient he has.
Savages. Both of you.
Thank you. Doc?
I'd appreciate a straight answer. And to be truthful with you, I'd rather Ethel wasn't in on this. Just you and I. You mean to keep him, don't you?
Yes, Jake.
Want that man in my house,
Through,
Jake.
please, Ethel. Wait till I'm through this time.
There's no need to go into it.
Doc, it's the opinion of a lot of smart people that you're taking a big risk of the whole shebang happening again.
That's my responsibility.
Doc, I'm going to have to go to the authorities. He's got to be put away, that's all.
You know what you are? A fiend. Well, let me tell you something. No child is going to go through what my Janie did ever again.
Goodbye,
Not if I can help it. Doesn't what happened to your own boy mean a blessed thing
I've
to you?
thought it over plenty, Doc, and I think it'd be best if the man was someplace else.
You belong if I have anything to say about it.
I can understand
you
you
and that monster of yours. Charlatan! Crackpot! Oh, you fiend!
Go on, Ethel. Go on out where everyone can hear you barking.
You brought that man into my house. You brought him into my house when I told you that I never wanted to see his face again.
Oh, boy. Evening, Doctor.
Hello, Monk.
Oh, Ben. Good, Ben. Easy, Ben.
Ben's had a rough day. He needs a good combing and a good dinner.
Yes, Doctor.
I'll just leave him in your good hands, Monk. It's all right, Monk.
Good evening, Doctor. How are you?
Who was here today, Grace?
Mrs. Creighton?
Was she? Did Anna Hannigan come?
No.
Don't cry.
It's all right, Ned. Don't worry. I'm just tired, I guess. It's going to be all right.
Hello, Ned.
Judge. Sheriff.
Can we come in?
Oh, please. Bonnie. Dawson. Jake. Well, this way, gentlemen.
No, this is fine, right here.
Oh, I'll get you some chairs.
No, you're not to bother yourself. Now, please. Ned, the reason that we're here is that we all like you. We've come to talk right out about this Monk Johnson situation. Now, maybe it's none of our affair, and as for me, I won't mind if you tell me so. But I'm not going to stand by and see a friend of mine ruin himself. And that's how we all feel.
Yeah, we all feel that way.
That's right, Doc.
I'm not ruining myself.
You've killed your practice. You killed it. Now, perhaps that's because a good many people in this town are thoughtless fools. But we can't see why Ned Trescott should oppose them and ruin himself. You can't teach them anything, you know.
It's the women.
I'm not trying to teach anybody anything.
Well, we want you out of this trouble, Ned. And we've come to the conclusion that the only way is to get Monk off at a place of his own somewhere, perhaps up in the valley, and buy whatever else may be necessary. Here's the list of the signatures with the amounts that have been pledged. It's dollars and cents, Ned.
We're prepared to take him right off your hands, Doc.
There he is. I don't blame you for being scared of him, Jimmie. I was so scared I had to be put to bed. Who said I was scared? You got a right to be scared of him. What for? What for?
I bet you don't dare walk right up to him.
Who, me?
Yeah, here.
It's the women.
Now, just because your son's life was saved by a half-wit freak, all right, a heroic one, but a freak all the same.
Why don't we give the crippled and infirm 24 hours to move out of town, Sheriff?
Ned, forgive me, but you've done quite enough, you know. We're not inhuman, but you're not superhuman either. There's plenty of money to buy him everything that he needs. Everything except this house and the lives of you and your family. You've got to let us buy those back.
Got a little no-good farm myself. Back of Clarence Mountain, you see, Doc, where Monk can live. Won't cost a cent. I give it.
I bet I can go up this close to him. Just watch. I bet you don't. Just watch, all of you.
Why does everyone place such a premium on my losing my nerve? Well, I'll think it over.
You'll think it over.
Makes sense.
Maybe a public institution, Doc.
Public institutions are all very good. But he's not going to one.
You're right, Grace. Right. I can't conceive of Jimmie's future under these circumstances. It's impossible.
Takes people a long time to get used to a thing, Ned. Here as well as the next place. Monk needs you.
He's gone, Grace. He's got to.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! I can do it! Look at him now!
Pollywog? Pollywog?
Jim.